Okay, let's do this. It is Friday night, and again, as was the case, I believe, last week, I don't feel like typing, and so I thought I would turn the camera on and kind of share with you some updates from this end. A lot of you folks are wondering what's going on with Don, what's going on with the Jellies, and so I'll give you a little bit of a recap. You see me in my summer garb pretty much today. And the comfortable attire really reflects a couple of different things. I think one of the things is that well, first of all, it's summer and it's hot, and we certainly spent some time away from the screen today in terms of the group, in terms of the action. But also, I think what you may see is as the Jellies will probably tell you, is a more comfortable persona, if you will, and I think that's shared by all of us. We have just finished our second week together, and it's really getting to a point where it seems like we've been together for a very long time. And so if that may come across in terms of some comfort at this end, and it may come across in the videos and in the blog. But I want to talk about myself a little bit in a certain context, and if I was actually to put a subtitle on this whole jelly effort, for all of us, it would probably be something that like extreme makeover. Because in a lot of cases we brought people to this effort who had been struggling in the past, or again just needed a push or that kind of thing, and so we've been working real hard on getting that to happen. But in terms of me, it's been well chronicled in this diary that after the 16-month $2 million run I was on, that I hit a wall, and I was frustrated and certainly not able to adapt as much as I should have probably, and largely was just burned out. It was again a year plus that I sacrificed a lot. It was a test of all tests for myself, and I paid for it. I paid for it. I'm kind of surprised again, as I've said before, that it lasted as long as it did before I hit the wall. So now let's go back to this extreme makeover concept in terms of some of the things that I'm doing. Many of you know that I stopped the other non-market business that I was doing. And while the last month plus has been very intensive in terms of getting ready for the jelly effort, getting the tank ready, getting all the infrastructure in place, the audio visual, the webinars that we're doing, and get those set up both technically and in terms of the concept. It's finally now getting to a point in time where I'm able to kind of exhale a little bit, and maybe for the first time in a couple of years. And it feels good. It feels good, and the jellies I think will tell you that things seem to be much more comfortable this week in terms of my involvement, certainly. And I think a lot of that is because a lot of the work has been done, and I'm doing some things at this end. I mentioned a few sessions ago or a few videos ago that I was experimenting with a stand-up desk. I actually decided to bag that idea for now. It wasn't really doing the job as I would have liked, and so I'm back to a sit-down station. But I'm doing some things that I haven't done in many, many years in terms of improving my own body. Again, you can go back through the last year and a half worth of posts, and you can see, and I know I've had many emails and letters and comments when we had the comment switch turned on in terms of people screaming at me to take care of myself. And so I've started doing that. I have got on a diet program, the MetaFast program, if you're familiar with it. My wife has been on it now since December of last year, and she'll allow me to tell you this because I'm so darn proud of her. She has lost about 70 pounds. She, like many people, had struggled with her weight ever since having our kids, and so she is well on her way to her goal. She's not quite there yet, but I have now joined her in terms of just trying to lose 15 pounds, 20 pounds or so. Also get myself in physical shape. So I'm working out a little bit. I'm nutritionally, the last couple of weeks I am better than I have been probably in my entire life, and I'm 48 years old. I've hooked up with a nutritionalist here who's also my chiropractor, who's got me taking some wonderful supplements. I'm on, again, a dietary program that is allowing me to both lose weight as well as lose it in a productive way, which I mean, this sounds like an ad for some kind of weight loss program, and it's not. I'm just sharing with you what I'm doing. So I'm making some pretty substantial changes in my lifestyle, after having really run on empty for certainly I'd say the last year or so. It's interesting, if you're a Red Sox fan, you may know that Remy, who used to be Red Sox second baseman and has been the color commentator on the cable games for many years now, recently had lung cancer, and he was diagnosed with that, and he had it removed, had a tumor removed, and then had a large operation, or a large infection that happened, and then he tried to come back, and then he was going through depression for a long time. And he actually was on TV the other night for the first time, and really explaining how much that whole thing took out of him, and he actually got into a major depression mode, which none of that's happening here at all. But my point being that here's a guy that also kind of hit a wall in his life, and when I look back at not only what I did last year, but really how it ended. In terms of the whole, May, June, July period, where the spirit was willing, but the body just wasn't. And I think it's been a time where I've really had to take a step back and reassess not just trading, but reassess my life in terms of my health and that sort of thing. So I'm on my way. I have been eating well. It's only been a couple of weeks now. But I've been eating extremely well. I am being very disciplined. It's interesting too, because my wife went through this process where she lost an incredible amount of weight, and then she hit a plateau, and she struggled a little bit there, and she was starting to climb again, and stuck with it through that period, which was several weeks, and now has started that next move down. And I kind of look at my own trading career in terms of, again, what I accomplished over the last year and a half. Kind of got to a plateau point, and kind of started churning wheels as she was doing, and I guess maybe it just goes to show what life, or remind us what life is about in terms of its cycles. You can't continue something forever. The body does need a break, a time to rejuvenate, and a time to prepare for the next climb. And as I've told the group, I'm looking at August for all of us as being a foundation and a springboard for September and far beyond. So while I had intended on going for the million again this year, after the 1.6 million last year, I certainly have put that on the back burner, and I'm focused now on getting myself in a situation where I can make possibly another run and do it. Maybe, well, undoubtedly with a better body, in terms of not doing it with 2 jobs, not doing it on 2 hours sleep, not doing it with atrocious eating habits, and oh, by the way, my back is doing much better. Whether that's a release of stress, whether that's a tremendous feel good about what we're doing with the Jellies, whether that is doing a little bit of exercise and eating well now, I don't know. It's probably all of those. So, I just want to update you a little bit in terms of, I've always wanted you to get inside of my head and what I'm thinking. I think we all go through phases like this in our lives. I was certainly tested in the market the last year or so, and I was tested mentally, spiritually, and physically over the past 2 or 3 months. Even with some of the crazies that were out there, questioning what the heck we were doing with this jelly effort, wondering about our intentions. It is, as I've said in recent posts, it has turned out to be one of the best things I've ever been associated with, and that's not hype, that's not marketing, that's not selling. I may trade with these guys for the rest of my life. It is really going that well in terms of a group, in terms of a collection of people that I'm quite proud to be associated with. And how the effort ends, that remains to be seen. But as I was telling the group today, we've got another 6 weeks together, at least. We'll see where it goes from there. So if you detect me smiling a little bit, relaxed, tanned, life is going in the right direction now, and I certainly wish you guys all the best over the weekend and going forward, and we'll be back at the blog in spades again over the weekend. So thoughts from a Friday night. Take care. Have a great weekend.